Good evening, ghouls and goblins. Welcome to the graveyard. I'm Luna Halloway, your friendly neighborhood jack-o'-lantern, local graveyard resident, part-time media archaeologist, and right now, thoroughly bored. With all the endless media and content cropping up around us on a daily basis, it feels almost impossible to decide what to watch, despite the ever-growing list of recommendations from well-meaning friends and online listicles. So I had this idea. What if I stopped overthinking what to watch and let the fates decide for me? I've got a knee-deep list of movies I want to watch. Every Saturday, I spin, and whatever it lands on, that's the video. Welcome to Spin Saturdays. Some will be a first-time experience for me. Some will be well-loved favorites. You never know what fate will have in store. Now, without further ado, let's spin that wheel. TerrorVision, a 1986 sci-fi horror thing that feels like a rogue Jimmy Neutron episode with no brain blast.
Ah! Brain shot!
So yeah, this should go well. TerrorVision was directed by Ted Nicolau, whose works include other such classics as The Dungeon Master and Subspecies. In his early career, he worked on sound recording for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and as an editor for Ghoulies. Talk about a resume. This thing was shot back-to-back with Troll. Yes, that one. The one that accidentally spawned but is still unrelated to the infamous Troll 2. The movie had a limited release in US theaters and made $320,256, which, on an apparent budget of 2 nickels and a bucket of Nickelodeon slime, sounds to me like a box office hit. We open on the planet Pluton. Sanitation Department, Mutant Creatures Disposal Unit. And speak of the devil, there's a mutant creature right there about to be disposed of by this green guy. Remember him, he'll be important later. As soon as the slimy goober gets beamed out into space, we get the kick-ass TerrorVision theme song made by LA art punk band The Fibonaccis. I honestly think this song rivals the Killer Clowns theme, and that's saying something. I don't know if I'll be able to play it here, but if I can't, I'll link it 6 feet under so you can give it a listen. We meet our cast of freaks, the Puttermans. There's the mom, Raquel, a diva who does aerobics in high heels. The dad, Stanley, our resident tech expert buffoon. Their eldest daughter, Susie, aptly named since she's giving Rainbow Bright Susie Sue. Then there's Gramps, the classic conspiracy nut combat vet with a hankering for lizard tails. And Susie's little brother, Sherman, aka Sherm, Grandpa's little foxhole sidekick. How positively nuclear. While Stanley's trying to fix up his DIY satellite, Gramps comes in talking about kooks like the house he's walking through isn't decked out like a swinger's paradise. That's foreshadowing. Stanley's having no luck with his satellite until an insane lightning bolt comes down and hits it, and it finally works. Everyone seems pretty okay with letting Dad take credit, so I guess everything is fine. As a side note, I love when movies used to 2D animate lightning for live action. What a great look of a bygone era. Now that their TV is up and running with all the channels, even the naughty ones, everyone's very excited. Gramps points out that Alice in Chains on MTV is a conspiracy and intellectual decay, but seems to have no problem with Channel 69 and Medusa's, general vibe.
Hello, bloodsuckers. Ready to be turned to stone.
Will you look at those hooters?
Can't say I'd complain either, from one supernatural movie ghoul to another. I do love an Elvira type. We then meet Susie's new boyfriend, O.D., who comes in dressed like a rejected Ramone. Her parents aren't as delighted by him as I am, which gives us this great scene.
Jesus, could you believe that kid?
Oh, I thought he was kind of cute. That punk stuff is just a phase anyway.
Yeah, I know, but don't they know how ridiculous they look?
Sherman doesn't really approve either.
Kiss the boot, man.
Kiss the ass, bozo.
I don't know. I think he's funny. Susie and OD go to a party while Raquel and Stanley head off to their swinger activities, leaving Gramps and Sherman alone to watch TV. They see a familiar slime ball on the TV, but get bored and switch over to Medusa, falling asleep. And then, well, see for yourself. They rush over to Grandpa's military bunker. How much money do these people have? And it's, alarming. They armor up thinking the monster is a burglar. Meanwhile, the satellite repair guy, Norton, who has the worst possible timing, comes over to inspect the satellite.
What the heck?
Gramps and Sherman come out to interrogate him. God, imagine these two doofuses pointing their guns at you being the last thing you see. The further we get into this house, the more elaborately decorated it is. These people are real freaks, and honestly, I respect it. As Sherman keeps investigating the house looking for the burglar, Norton bites the big one to the monster, and Gramps is close behind. Talk about getting slimed. Sherm tries calling 911 from the bunker and gets trolled by the cops. Meanwhile, Mom and Dad arrive back at home with their swinging pals, a blonde named Cherry and a Greek guy named Spiro who's super into being Greek. Sherman tries to warn them that something hinky is going on, but gets yelled at and shoved into the bunker with, "Yes, I'm definitely Gramps." Mom of the Year. We at least learn from this that the monster can pull out the bodies of people it ate and manipulate them. Of course, they're slimy and drippy and act weird, but still, a notable skill. Oh my god, it's the green guy from before on the TV! Wonder what he's saying. Probably nothing important.
People of Earth, you must heed my warning. Destroy your satellite receivers. Dismantle
Great
your
sound, huh?
communication systems. Render your television sets inoperable for the next 200 Earth years. It may already be too late.
Huh. Anyway, turns out the monster isn't in the bunker anymore, so back to the pleasure dome.
What are you looking at, you creep?
Spiro and Raquel are preparing drinks at the bar, talking about Stanley's really high IQ. Turns out Spiro is only interested in Stanley.
I am into Greek culture. I like boys.
What did I say? He's really into being Greek. Meanwhile,
People of Earth, please heed my warning. A terrible accident has occurred. I am Pluthar, sanitation captain of the planet Pluton. A stray energy beam containing garbage from my substation may be headed for your solar system and could possibly result in the total annihilation of your species. I'm so terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
there's that tagline. Medusa takes a phone freak call from Sherm, where she totally blows him off and then jump scares him. What an icon. Back at the pool,
What is this? Algae?
wait, what happened to Spiro's accent? He sounds British now. I thought you were all about the Greek, man. Woo! Now that's what I call taking it like a man. Monster, meet Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, meet Monster.
What is that?
I am obsessed with this scene. Stanley makes so many great faces, and the monster barks like a dog while it eats them. It's fantastic. Sherm hears the carnage and decides to armor up. At the same time, Susie and OD pull back in from their party. God, I love her outfit here. Costuming did an amazing job with her. Hair and makeup killed it too. Sherm tries to warn them too, and obviously isn't taken seriously, again. God, some of the subtle comedy in this movie is pure gold. Susie and Sherm go to check on their parents, and the monster puppets them and their swinger friends in bed, which is already nuts, but Susie asks about Gramps.
Right here, honeybee. Just taking care of business.
Oh, Gramps, that is totally sicko!
Oh boy, this is a trip. They meet back up with OD downstairs, and I gotta admit, I love OD. He is so entertaining and silly. I mean, come on! And speaking of loving OD, the monster comes out of the TV and almost eats him, but his studded leather arm cuff reminds the monster of the caretaker who raised it, which endears it to OD and the kids by extension. So I guess they have a new slimy man-eating pet. This is where the third act kicks off, and it kinda goes off the rails from here. We learn a lot of new things about the monster. It can talk, it does not like human food, it does like swing music, but metal, not so much. They train him to say their names, the word music, and, most importantly, TV.
This is TV. TV! Next to food and music, this is mankind's greatest invention.
They leave the monster to watch Medusa and conspire to make money off of it by getting it on TV. They call Medusa to try to get her on board, so they invite her to a fictional party at their house to try and get her to come see the monster in person. As if this couldn't get cartoony enough, a cop actually shows up to arrest Sherman for supposedly prank calling the station. As luck would have it, the monster sees the green guy on TV and starts tweaking out.
Hey! I said shut up, butthole!
OD, no! Sherman throws a grenade to try to stop the monster, and the cop realizes he is out of his depth. A man who knows his limits. The monster proceeds to eat the cop's gun, and then also the cop. Sherm kicks into action, and he and Susie move out with guns. They realize for certain that their parents are dead when they find all their goop in the bed. Now who's to say that's not just a natural product of swinging? Meanwhile, the monster is having the time of its life watching TV and chilling in the pool. What even is this movie? You know, this movie feels all the more like a cartoon with how much these characters love catchphrases.
Holy tomato.
Sherman comes up with a plan and tries to get the remote control in the water to electrocute the monster, but he gets grabbed before he can make it. Susie does it instead, and the green guy, who we learn is called Pluton, comes out of the TV to save them. Very creative naming conventions on the planet Pluton. We learn the monster is a hungry beast, a kind of pet on Pluton, but this one is mutated and eats everything. He tried to exterminate it in the traditional way, converting it to pure energy and beamed across the universe, which is how it ended up in their satellite dish. He tells them the only way to get their parents back is to recover their DNA from the beast's living body and grow them back in a lab.
Clones of Mommy and Daddy?
No, they'd be the real Mommy and Daddy. Of course, they'd have to live in special aquariums.
Yeah, kids, you heard him, the real Mommy and Daddy. Medusa finally shows up. Love that she wears her hairpiece off the job. She mistakes Pluton for a threat and clocks him, breaking his space helmet and blowing up his head. Oops. Then the monster breaks through the wall and starts sucking all of them into his mouth with a wind tunnel. Just as Sherman is nearing the monster's mouth, we cut to black. The next morning, in Medusa's car, her voice wakes her sleeping driver, demanding a ride to the studio. As she should. In the back seat, we see an awesome fusion of the monster and Medusa. Roll credits. And play that song for me one more time. What a ride. Everyone in this movie is hamming it up to 1,000, and it's fantastic. The whole thing feels like a cartoon acted out by live human actors. Speaking of the actors, during my deep dive into this monstrous picture, I found some fun details about the cast. John Grease, who played OD, was also Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite. He's also been on The White Lotus as Greg Hunt and in the Fallout TV series as Biff from the NCR Holdout. Chad Allen, who played Sherman, grew up to be something of a teen heartthrob in the late 80s, early 90s, and later went on to become an LGBTQ+ activist and psychologist. And last, but certainly not least, during my research, I found out that Diane Franklin, the actress who played Susie Putterman, is the mother of Olivia De Laurentiis of comedy duo Sid and Olivia. Which was not on my bingo card for factoids I would learn from watching TerrorVision of all things. Honestly, it should have been obvious since they're practically identical. So, in the end, what was this movie about? And was it worth watching? The whole thing did feel like it could have been an episode of Sick Sad World. Not to give this movie more credit than it's earned, but there probably is something here about the monster representing American consumerism and its insatiable hunger and TV addiction, themes and such. I think I agree most with this review on Letterboxd from user Raphael Mr. Movie Jovine. One of those films whose genius rests not so much in its story or performances as it does in its technical work. Everything in this movie looks fabulous, from the wacky set design to the vibrant and colorful cinematography to the well-executed costumes, makeup, and hairstyles, and most of all, to the fantastic slimy creature design, which is both original and familiar. Am I the only one who thinks he looks like a deformed version of Pokemon's Grimer? All in all, it takes a while to get insanely funny, but once we get to all the wonderful makeup and creature work spectacle, it's non-stop 80s campy fun. Well said, Mr. Movie. Now, let's knock this bad boy on the pumpkin purity scale, my personal graveyard rating system for sinister cinema, from pristine to fully liquefied. For this school, TerrorVision lands at bruised. A fun romp with great practical grossness and comic book acting, but nothing life-changing. Though that theme song will be entering the graveyard rotation. Bonus points for that. Now that all's said and done, it's time to bury this hungry sci-fi monster for good. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching my lunatic ravings. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see added to the wheel. Maybe it's already there, or maybe you had an original thought. Who knows? It could happen. For now, I've been Luna Holloway, you've been a wonderful audience. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you around the graveyard. Good night.